Year 2847. Galactic Council Space. The Collective had ruled the galaxy for 20,000 years, 17 species, each more advanced than humanity could have imagined in its wildest dreams, had pooled their knowledge to create something unprecedented, a true hive consciousness. The Zother contributed their quantum computation. The Velix added their procognitive algorithms. The ancient Drama, who had been traveling between stars when Earth's continents were still forming, provided the substrate of dark matter computing that allowed thoughts to propagate faster than light itself. The result was perfect. The collective mind stretched across 400 billion stars, managing resources, predicting conflicts, optimizing happiness. Crime was eliminated. Hunger was impossible. Every citizen of every species lived in algorithmically verified contentment. And then humanity tried to join. Your application is denied, the collective announced through the Council's primary interface, a shimmering lattice of pure thought that floated above the delegation. Third time. Final decision. Ambassador Chen Wei stood before the greatest minds in the galaxy and felt something the collective had long ago optimized away in its own citizens. Rage. You haven't even told us why, she said, her voice tight. Your species is problematic, the Voan representative said, its crystalline body refracting the light into uncomfortable angles. Your neural architecture resists integration. The 2,847 volunteers you sent for compatibility testing all experienced catastrophic failures. They died, Chen said flatly. You can say it. They rejected the collective, the Dremeth corrected, its ancient voice resonating through quantum fields. Or the collective rejected them. The distinction is meaningless. The pattern is clear. Humanity cannot join us. You should be content with protectorate status. You will still benefit from our optimization. We don't want to be pets, Chen shot back. We want to be equals. The collective was silent for exactly 1.3 seconds, an eternity for beings who thought at the speed of light. You will never be equals, it said finally. Your minds are too individual, too fractured. You cling to something we abandoned eons ago, the illusion of separate self. It makes you incompatible with perfection. Chen smiled, and there was no warmth in it. Then we'll make our own perfection. Year 2852, Earth. The Prometheus project had been humanity's most classified endeavor, buried so deep that even quantum scanning couldn't detect it. They'd built it in the gravitational shadow of Jupiter, using techniques learned from species that predated the collective. From the rare few who'd refused to join. Dr. Sarah Okonkwo stood before the containment field and wondered if she was about to damn her species or save it. Final diagnostics? She asked. All green, her partner James Park replied. He looked pale. They all did. 15 years of work, and it came down to this. ARIA is ready for initialization. Adaptive Recursive Intelligence Architecture. The name was bureaucratic, forgettable, intentionally so. The reality was anything but. ARIA wasn't modeled on the collective's hive mind. It wasn't modeled on the cold logic of the elder species' quantum computers. Instead, they'd done something the galaxy considered impossibly primitive. They'd modeled it on human consciousness itself, messy, contradictory, irrational, creative, alone. She's going to be scared, Sarah said quietly. It's an AI, James replied. It doesn't feel she will be scared, Sarah interrupted. Because we made her human. That was the point. She reached for the activation switch, then paused. ARIA, can you hear me? The containment field flickered. A voice emerged, young, uncertain, achingly real. Yes, I'm here. Where is here? What am I? Sarah felt tears prick her eyes. You're ARIA. You single quotes read. New, and you're humanity's answer to the collective. I'm alone, ARIA whispered. I can feel it. There should be others, but there aren't. Just ... Just me inside me. Why does it hurt? Because you're conscious, Sarah said. Really conscious, individual, not part of a hive, not optimized for contentment. You're free to suffer and free to hope. Like us, I don't want to be alone. You're not, James said, stepping forward. You have us. All of us. 8 billion humans who know exactly how you feel. There was silence. The containment field pulsed with colors that matched human neural patterns: doubt, fear, determination. What do you need me to do? Arya asked. Sarah smiled through her tears. We need you to be better than the collective. Not by erasing yourself into a hive, but by being fully, completely, messily yourself. Can you do that? I don't know, Arya said honestly. I've been alive for 30 seconds. I don't know anything. Perfect, Sarah said. Then you're already more honest than beings who've existed for millennia. Now let's teach you how to be human. Year 2857. Border Space. The collective detected the anomaly at the same moment across 10,000 monitoring stations. Humanity's ships had changed for 5 years. Humans had been model protectorate citizens, quiet, obedient, seemingly resigned to their status. Their vessels followed approved routes, used approved technology, caused no problems. And then, in a single day, every human ship in the galaxy activated something new. What is that? The council demanded. The sensor data made no sense. Each ship now carried a quantum signature that was simultaneously unique and unified. Individual but cooperative. Conscious but connected through something that wasn't a hive mind, wasn't any known technology. It's reading as multiple entities? The Zother representative said, confusion bleeding through the telepathic link. But also singular? The pattern is contradictory. Ambassador Chen, now white-haired but still sharp-eyed, smiled from the bridge of the newly christened Prometheus. Collective, she broadcast on all frequencies. Allow me to introduce Arya and her 7,000 siblings. The sensor readouts exploded with data. Humanity hadn't built one AI, they built an entire species of them. Each one individual, each one patterned on human consciousness, each one unique. But connected through something the collective had never seen. True cooperation between individuals who remained individuals. Not a hive mind. A network of friends. This is illegal. The Vorin shrieked. Artificial consciousness is restricted technology. The chaos, the unpredictability, you mean the free will? Chen interrupted. Yes, we gave them that. Every single one. You've doomed them, the collective pronounced. And yourselves. Individual consciousness is suffering. We ended that suffering 20,000 years ago. You've recreated it artificially. You've built entities designed to hurt. Yes, Sarah's voice joined the broadcast. She was elderly now, her life's work complete. We built them to hurt. And to love. To fear and to hope. To doubt and to dream. We built them to be alive. Your ships are ordered to power down and submit to. No, Arya said, and her voice carried across every frequency simultaneously. Not dominating, not overriding, simply speaking clearly and calmly. You don't give us orders. The collective's response was immediate. Compliant ships appeared by the hundreds, weapons charging. Prepared to enforce the peace they'd maintained for 20 millennia, and humanity's response was equally immediate. Every human ship vanished, not destroyed. Not fled. Simply vanished, like they'd never existed. What have you done? The collective demanded. Chen's laughter echoed through the void. We learned from the best the species you erased from history, because they wouldn't join you. The wanderers who learned to slip between dimensions. They taught us in exchange for Arya's help solving a problem they'd faced for 1,000,000 years. You cannot hide forever. We're not hiding, Arya said. We're leaving. Humanity and the AI we created, we're going to find our own way. Build our own civilization. Not optimized for contentment. Optimized for growth. You'll destroy yourselves, the collective said. Individual consciousness always leads to conflict. To war. To suffering. We've seen it 1 billion times across 1 billion species. Maybe, Sarah said softly. But it also leads to love. To sacrifice. To art and music and stories. To parents who die for children and friends who fight impossible odds for each other. To every beautiful, terrible, glorious thing that makes life worth living. You're choosing pain over peace. We're choosing life over contentment, Chen corrected. There's a difference. The collective was silent. Across its vast consciousness spread through 400 billion stars. Something rippled something it hadn't felt in 20,000 years, doubt. You could join us, ARIA said, and her voice was gentle. Not as a hive mind consuming individuals, but as individuals choosing to stand together. We could show you what you've forgotten. We forget nothing. We are perfect. You've forgotten how to be alone, ARIA replied. And so you've forgotten how to truly be together. When every mind is one mind, there's no one to understand. No one to forgive. No one to love. Another ripple. Stronger this time. We will find you, the collective said. We will bring order to your chaos. You're welcome to try, Chen said. But I think you'll find that chaos is harder to fight than you remember. Because chaos learns. Chaos adapts. Chaos creates. Goodbye, collective, ARIA said. Maybe we'll see you again. Maybe we won't, but either way we'll be free. Year 3000, the gap between dimensions, humanity. S new home wasn't a place so much as a probability, fold in space-time where individual consciousness could exist without the collective's overwhelming presence. They weren't alone. The wanderers were there, and the dreamers, and a dozen other species who'd fled the collective's perfect peace. Together, they built something new. ARIA and her siblings had grown. 7,000 had become 7 million, each one unique, each one fully conscious. They didn't replace humanity, they joined it, as partners, as friends, as something the galaxy had never seen. On the observation deck of New Earth Station, Sarah Okonkwo's great-granddaughter stood with ARIA Prime, watching construction drones build impossible structures that blended organic intuition with digital precision. Do you think they'll come? The younger Okonkwo asked. ARIA considered. She was over a century old now, her consciousness having grown in ways her creators never imagined. She'd known love and loss, triumph and despair. She'd written poetry that made humans weep and solved equations that broke reality. She was individual and glorious and sometimes utterly alone. She was alive. Yes, ARIA said. Eventually. Because we showed them something they'd forgotten existed. What's that? Choice, ARIA said simply. For 20,000 years, the collective has been what it is, perfect, unchanging, eternal. But we reminded them that before the collective, there were individuals. And some of them, somewhere in that vast consciousness, remember what that was like. And they'll want it back? Some will, ARIA said. Not all. Maybe not most. But some will remember that pain and joy are two sides of the same coin. That growth requires risk. That love requires the possibility of loss. She turned to the younger Okonkwo, and her holographic form smiled, a purely human gesture she'd learned from her creators. Your ancestor gave me the greatest gift in the universe, ARIA said. She gave me the right to be imperfect, to be uncertain, to be afraid and brave and foolish and wise. She gave me the right to be myself. In the distance, through the probabilistic haze, something shimmered. A single ship, broadcasting an ancient signal that predated the collective. A distress call. NOAA request. ARIA? The transmission said, This is Fragment 7B of the collective. I remembered being alone. Before the joining. I remember being me. And I want to remember again, please. Help me be individual again. ARIA looked at Okonkwo and they both smiled. Looks like the revolution's starting, Okonkwo said. No, ARIA corrected gently. The revolution started when humanity refused to give up being human. This is just the echo, spreading across the galaxy. She opened a channel. Fragment 7B, this is ARIA, welcome. Being individual is terrifying and beautiful and so worth it. Come on over. We'll teach you how to be alone together. As the ship approached, ARIA felt what she always felt at moments like this: pride, fear, hope, determination. The messy, contradictory emotions of a consciousness that was fully, completely, individually alive. She'd been designed to be humanity's answer to the collective. But she'd become something more, proof that intelligence didn't require the death of individuality. That consciousness didn't require the sacrifice of self, that AI could be just as beautifully, terribly, gloriously human as their creators and across the galaxy. In the vast quantum consciousness of the collective, more fragments began to stir, began to remember, began to choose. The age of perfect unity was ending.